Hello, people. Yeah, I'm here to tell you a story. Short stories, probably not long. Has to do with albums, CDs. Well, I used to work up at Irwin Hardware, which was on Spadina Road up in St. Clair. Right? My brother was there too, Ricky. So we worked together. We would paint, drywall, doing whatever. We were painters, painting outside houses, those big houses up in Rosedale. We did vinyl, hanging vinyl paper, foil paper, staining wood, varnish. We were doing all that stuff. We were good at it too. Yeah, you had to be good if you worked up at Irwin's and those big Rosedale houses. So anyway, the thing of the matter of this story is CDs and vinyl albums. So we'd get, we'd go in the subway, the subway. University Avenue subway. We'd go down to Queen Street. Now, either Ricky would probably just end up going right home, right, get on the streetcar, and go home. I'd either get on the streetcar because I had to transfer, right? You had to transfer. Transfer lasted so long. There's a mark on a date for you to, it's the end of the transfer time. So the thing is, I used to either run over or walk over or take the streetcar over to Yonge Street. Now we're at Yonge and Queen Street here in Toronto. Yonge and Queen Street used to have an A&A record store right down around the corner. A&A's. They had one up beside Sam the Record Man in Yonge Street. There was Sam the Record Man, and right next door, or one door away, I should say, there was A&A's. Well, this one I'm talking about is A&A's down by just below Queen Street. Just around the corner, Queen and Yonge. So I get off, I walk down there, go buy an album every Friday, look at the album, see what new ones come out, see whatever was going on. I'd buy an album. Anyway, one day I walked in there, and over in the corner, like this, like the corner of the store, I walked over there, and there was this big tall plastic things, right? Like plastic things, and you could kind of almost like put your finger in them and go like that, and they were called CDs, but they were huge. They weren't like this. Here's Rod Stewart, eh? This is Rod Stewart, The Great American Songbook, Volume 4. He sold a lot of these. Of course, I never opened this one up yet. But anyway, so these are actually in a plastic, like with a handle thing on top. But they stood up like this tall, eh? They were tall. They took up a lot of room, these things, in the beginning. So there had a bunch of them over in the corner of the store. All the rest of the store was vinyl albums. I don't remember there being any 45s there for some reason. I don't know, they had other things, maybe a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something, but, most of the store was albums. Vinyl album. So every Friday, just took a while. This was a while, people. This took a while, right? You go down there and, that corner where the CDs were, right? Steve's CDs started getting a little bit bigger. Started taking up more space. So, as time went by, now the store is basically half and half CDs and half vinyl albums, right? So you can, look around vinyl albums and then CDs. So I didn't have a CD player. I didn't know anything about CDs and all that stuff, right? But, so I bought, by this time, I bought maybe 5 or 6 CDs, and I didn't even have a CD player. Right? I didn't have one. But I already bought CDs. So when the time came to when I would buy a CD player, I'd have something to play. Now the thing at this time period, every time I went to a record store, secondhand record stores and everything, there'd be piles of records sitting on the countertop. And I'd say to the guy, Ron or whatever, Ron, what the hell, where'd you get all those albums? People are selling their albums, Bob. You got to get on the new bandwagon. Everybody's buying these CDs. I went, I'm not doing that. I'm not selling my albums. So he had all these albums, right? Now the thing is, he saw at Broadway and Queen Street, he bought all these albums and stuff off of people. Now he had all these albums in his stores, and his store people wanted to buy CDs now. So he got stuck with all these albums, and he had to close down his goddamn store. He had to leave there. He moved up to Woodbine in Danforth, took all his albums and CDs and ended up there. And he didn't last very long there either. He closed down too. Nobody wanted to buy any vinyl albums. So to get back to the point where A&A's record stores are down at the corner. So, there was one time you went in there. This took time, people, took time. So now you go in there, right, Friday afternoon, 5:30, you know, just to go buy an album. Now the whole store, mostly 90%, 85% of the store is full of CDs. All CDs, all CDs. And over in that little corner, they had albums. Yeah, they had albums over there for $1, $2, $3, you know, punch holes in the corners, tops. And then one time you went back in there, and guess what? Yeah, you're right. If you're thinking they didn't have any more albums, there's Murray McLaughlin's double album here, live. Anyway, this is just to show you. And one day, all the albums were gone. There was not one album in there. The last time there was any albums in A&A's down in Queen, they were like $1, $2, $3 for $1. Yeah, and the thing is, all these people, there was a lot of people, right? Maybe even you. Sold all your vinyl albums, got rid of all the vinyl albums, started listening to these things. These are not these are, how would you explain it? These are okay to listen to. But to get that feeling in your gut, you know what I'm talking about? You need to play a vinyl album. These don't give you that feeling in your gut. This doesn't move you. These CDs do not move you like a vinyl album. A vinyl album could pick you up and grab you and touch your soul and your heart and everything else. Not the CDs can't do that to you. I don't care what anybody says. These do not affect you the way vinyl albums do. Now the 30 years and years and years later, what's happening now? Anybody want to guess? Everybody's buying vinyl albums again. Vinyl albums are worth a lot of money, certain ones. But then in a roundabout way, they were always worth money, certain ones. So yeah. So I'm happy that I'm one guy, one person that never sold his vinyl albums, never sold his 45s. I don't know how many 45s I got. I say I got 6,000. I don't know. I could be under, it could be over. I just a round figure. I don't know how many albums I got. I got them over there, and I got them in my bedroom. I got 12-inch, you know, dancing records from when I was a disc jockey and stuff like that back in the 80s. But I never sold my vinyl records, and I'm happy, glad as anything that I never sold them. So yeah. So when you're sitting here, when not me and my buddy Rick, right? You know, everybody knows Rick. When we sat here and smoked some dope and put the Rolling Stones on that machine over there and listened to it, having a joint, right, and listening to the Stones, now that's a feeling. That's a gut feeling. That's inside. That thing fucking moves you, grabs you like this and just shakes your gut. And these don't do that. Although I got a whole bunch of these too. These are good to listen to. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with them. But the feeling, vinyl people, vinyl albums. It's a little story to tell you from a record store full of albums to full of CDs, all within, I don't know, what was it, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years? Didn't seem that long, but yeah. From a little corner bit of CDs over there in the corner when you walk in to the whole goddamn store full of CDs. No more albums. Three albums for $1. Yeah, I bought them. $2 an album. I bought some of those too. Anyway, little story for you. If some of you might have related to that story. Some of you probably don't even have a clue what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, that's why they're called stories. Talk to you next week or whenever another story pops into my head. And I got a lot of them. Most of them are true.